What's going on, guys? Hope you guys are doing good. I've got another scope to look at today, coming to us from Discovery Optics. And most of the time when you get a scope, or when one of the channels that you watch get a scope, we can't talk about the prices, we can't talk about where to get it, but I've been getting all my stuff limited monetization anyway, so I'm just going to go ahead and tell you where you could get this if you were looking for it and how much it costs, because I think that is an important thing to talk about with this scope. And I haven't opened it up yet, but Discovery Optics has been sending me some stuff. Got a really nice scope from them, two really nice sets of rings, and I asked for this scope because this is the Discovery Optics. This is the MS 3-9x40, and MS stands for Magnum Shockproof. So this is their scope that they're advertising for springers, for air guns with reverse recoil. I appreciate them sending it out if anybody from Discovery Optics watches this, but they're not paying me. I don't get paid for any of the videos that I make like this. They just use the videos on their site. So I'm gonna be honest with you if this thing sucks. So opening it up, in here we've got a cleaning cloth, got some instructions, and then a little spec sheet. Okay, let's take this thing out of the packaging and check it out really quick. And then I'm going to talk about the specs, and then I'm going to mount it up onto a Springer, and we'll see what this thing's like to use. So, okay, pretty good looking scope there. Aluminum, comes with a little front cap there, good looking element. And the back cap is just kind of like a slide on piece. Back of the scope right there is pretty cool. I think that the little magnification cutout, I think that's pretty neat. I don't know if that I've ever seen that before. So instead of having the numbers on the outside, it's like cut out and then inside of the eyepiece there. Fast focus eyepiece is a little stiff, but brand new scope out of the box. You've got their little leveling position cut out, little flat spot on there. I really like that. That's a nice touch. It'll spoil you. Let's take a look at the turrets. These caps, not super impressive caps. All they're plastic, that's why. So plastic caps, no big deal. And then our turrets look like that. This is what they sound like. So nice audible clicks, not spongy at all. We do have plastic caps there, but not a big deal. Let's talk about the price real quick. This scope was available on Amazon, but I just looked and it's currently unavailable. The only place that I could find it was the Discovery Optics site, and it's 60 bucks. It's on sale right now. I think regular price was about 80 bucks. So 60 bucks is worth the gamble, I think. So again, this is the MS 3-9x40, 3-9 magnification, second focal plane. I'm gonna look through it in just a minute and see what it looks like without mounting it up. The adjustments are 1/4 MOA. You got 3.3 inches of eye relief. You've got 70 MOA adjustment for elevation and windage, 40 millimeter objective size. Your tube diameter is going to be 1 inch on this scope. Your parallax, it says, is at 100 yards, so I'd like to see that a little bit closer, but just lower the magnification down, shouldn't bother me too bad. The weight is 12.3 ounces, so kind of a lightweight scope. This one's not illuminated, and it's supposed to be very shockproof. So most of the time for a Springer scope, they have a little bit of, they've got a couple added things in there that helps it not get destroyed by a Springer, and they're pieces of rubber that keeps everything from slapping back and forth instead of just recoiling one way. So really the killer with a scope on a Springer is the vibration. So hopefully, there's no way I could know if this has that on there, but hopefully this has something like that in it. I know the BSA Outlooks, they have something like that that dampens the vibration, and I think that's why they last so long. That's at 6 power. Let's start at 3 power. Reticle is nice and clear, really clear scope. That is honestly impressive. I'll tell you what, I'm just gonna rig up something so you guys can look through the scope really quick. All right, guys, I've got my little setup going so you guys can watch the scope. This is just, I've had a couple comments on this. This is just the Manbilley, I'm wearing shorts, I'm not out here in my underwear. This is the Manbilley tripod head. Probably the most used thing that I have been sent, and I've been emailing the heck out of them. They won't send me nothing else, but I really enjoyed this. And then this is a small rig magic arm, just mounted to the Tracheom shooting stick that I was also sent, and I'm using the other one as my tripod. Sorry, Gabriel. I know I said I'd send you one of them, but I've been using it, so I may have to renegotiate on that promise. But that's that setup. Let me go ahead and show you guys through the scope. This is at 3 power, and then I'm just taking my iPhone and focusing on the scope. And I hope this does it justice, because this scope is clear all the way out to the edge. So that's what looking through the scope looks like. This is, or the target out there, that tree's about 42 yards from here, and then those targets behind it, you can barely see them, that's at 50 yards. So that's what it looks like at 50 yards. Decent looking, in my opinion. And then I'm going to try not to move everything, and then zoom in with the magnification, and we'll see if the hour leaf changes. I know it's going to, but I want to get that on camera. Just by holding it, I was able to tell that. So it hadn't got too bad yet. That's still looking good. That's still looking pretty good. That's at 5 power there. Getting a little dark around the edges there. And then all the way up. But it definitely did get darker around the outside. You're probably going to have to set this scope up, or I'm going to have to set this scope up at 9 power and then back it back off to be able to get the proper eye relief, so that I'm not squinting and ruining my eyes. Okay, so that's 50 yards. Sorry, the wind's blowing it, shaking it all over the place, but that's 50 yards. Around the edges there, you are getting a little bit of a blurry image for sure. It's got some nice crosshairs, got a bunch of reference points. Interesting looking reticle there. Again, this one is not the illuminated reticle version, but if I were to take this and then back it off, let's see realistically where I think it looks good all the way across. So right about there. So that is 7 power. That's pretty consistent for me. That seems to be where I like stuff. But let's mount this thing up and test it on a rifle and see what the usability is. If you're going to buy a scope, this is cool, but how does it function when you're actually using it? So I'm going to go mount this up on something and we'll check it out. Okay, that took longer than I wanted it to, but we got the scope mounted up on there. This is not optimal. It's just barely ghosting that rear sight at 3 power. It's too low. It's probably got like, I don't know, 20 thousandths between the mount and the bottom of the scope, but it's on there. Everything's tight. And what I really want to check out is, while you're adjusting this scope, is it moving? A lot of the air rifle scopes, it's like you got to move them a little bit, move them a little bit, move them, and then it's way off, and then you have to go back and forth to get something adjusted. And I'm hoping that this one won't be like that. So I've got a target out at about 15 yards, shooting some rifle Diablo Pro Max, pretty good pellet in any air gun. And let's adjust on this scope for a little bit. So at this yardage, that's plenty clear at 3 power. Okay, so we are way low, way low. Realistically, what I would probably do is a different setup, but for the video's sake, let's go ahead and start adjusting and see what happens. That's 30, 40, and I lost count. Quite a bit. Let's do elevation and windage separate. Okay, so definitely moved it up. And I didn't even try to count. Okay, so elevation is moving up just fine. At this close, I like to get it just a little bit high. Let's see if this thing's hold sensitive really quick. Well, I hate to mess with that elevation, it's almost perfect. Let's go over to the left. About 5 half turns. It's not getting tight or anything crazy like that. You don't really want to do this to a scope. You want to get it the closest to the middle that you can when you initially mount the scope, but we're going to work with what we got today. Let's do one more there and see if this thing's still moving without adjusting it. There's no way that was the same hole. This is a good shooting air gun though. Let's do one more. Yeah, so good shooting air gun. Let's go left some more. One more shot right here. Nice. Left a little bit more. So this thing's adjusting up great. So this thing is adjusting up really good. Too much. And I'm gonna call it there. Call it good there. I'm gonna move that target out some more. And what I'm gonna do is go through the magnification range and see if that changes our point of impact. Okay, so this is just about 30 yards, pretty good distance. And what I'm gonna do is shoot at 3 power and then turn the magnification all the way up to 9 power and see if that moves our point of impact. Now this gun's really fast, so it may be actually still shooting high at this yardage. Yeah, this thing's a hoss. So let's turn the magnification up, see if it moves. All the way up to 9 power. Okay, that's at 30 yards. That's a little blurry, to be honest with you. It's like I can either focus on my crosshair or the target. Ooh. Let's do that same test, back it back off to 3 power there. That could just be wind, to be honest with you. So 3 power. Yeah, okay. And then we'll go back up to 9 power. So 9 power here. So I think that was, it moved right over to that hole. So it is moving when I increase the magnification. That's why I did that test, and that's what it showed. So that's 1.5 inches at 30 yards. How accurate is the Mach 1? I'm surprised about every time I shoot this thing. I came out here to do an unboxing video, and I've been out here for like an hour now, so got to wrap this one up. But I want to say thank you to Discovery Optics for sending me this scope. I do think that this is a good quality scope. I like that it's Springer rated. 60 bucks is a fair price in my opinion. I like several of the features on it. Nice clear glass. You're getting some accessories with it. Turrets feel good. But you are getting a point of impact shift with the increase in magnification, and unfortunately you see that a lot of the times with a more affordable second focal plane scope. So what I will probably do with this scope is zero it at like 5.5, 6 power, and then that's where I'll use it, and I'll just know at 3 power I'm left, at 9 power I'm right. So unfortunately, sometimes you got to do that. I've been using Simmons scopes since I was a kid, so not a big deal for me. But I just wanted to be transparent with that part of this scope. Let me know what you guys think about this Discovery Optics. I think this is a good option for real compared to something like this Gammo thing. The quality difference is pretty substantial between a Gammo kit scope and this. I think this is a good option compared to the BSA Outlook. I still would prefer the Outlook over this one, but this is $30–40 cheaper, so take that into account. And then under that there's really nothing. So a good quality, affordable Springer rated scope. Does have some issues, but you're not going to get everything you want for 70 bucks, unfortunately. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'll see you later.